I'm finally getting around to doing an update on this 12 Pocket Pro binder. Now, I've had this for 6 or 7 months. If you're keen for a long-term update on how it handles, this is the video for you. Hey everyone, Dan the Cardman back again. Welcome to another video. So as you can see by the title, today we're getting around to doing an updated review, or finally getting around to doing the updated review on the Ultra Pro Premium Suede 12 Pocket Pro binder. Now that's a lot of words, so it's a mouthful, don't translate yourself. But basically I did this review 6 or 7 months ago when I picked up the binder myself, and I thought now that I've had it for a bit longer, I can give some insights into like long-term use of it, whether it's still a good option to buy, and basically give you my thoughts. I've had a few people ask questions on it as well, so I just thought, let's do an update. Now, I bought this, as I said in the original video, for my collectible cards. I don't use this for trading card game purposes, and that's basically what the binder was designed for, right? It's for trading card games with a 4-card playset. Now, what that means is you got 4 of the same card that you can put in your deck, right? So the whole purpose of this is you take these to an event, to a trade night, to a game night, something with mates. You want to change up the cards you have in your deck, you keep this for your 4-card playsets, take them out, put them in your deck and replace, and so on and so forth. Now, because I use this for collectible card games, you might think, okay, maybe you can't give me the insights that I need for this review, but I can, because I've rearranged this binder so many times over that 6 or 7 month period, including my other one. So I've got some very, very heavy use out of it, probably more use out of it than someone using it for TCG purposes would, right? So I think there's some really cool things, or not cool things, some things that you need to be aware of now that I've used it so much, and I just want to give you those thoughts. So the reason why I bought it up front is for collectible card game purposes. I like the fact that it's 12 and 12, right? I like that you can see 24 cards at the same time. Like, it's a bit hard to see down there, but you can sort of see, right? I just like to see that many cards at once, because it's just, I like to interact with my collections, and being able to see that many at once is just really interesting. Now, 2 caveats. You'll see duplicates here. Card sticker, that's why you're seeing doubles. These card stocks are quite thick, so that's also a good thing to hear for this review, because from a TCG perspective, you're not going to necessarily have super thick card stock. So how it handles with thick card stock is probably going to be of interest to you. Now, in terms of general wear and tear, I think the outside is still pretty good. The zipper still holds strong, like you can hear it there. No issues whatsoever. I had no issues when any flaking on the corners. It's still really, really good, and what you'd expect from a price point that it is, because you can get these for like $60 Australian. At that price point, you'd want something that handles pretty well. I've had no issues with this. I've taken it to people's houses, things like that. Maybe not as much use of like throwing it around as you would at a TCG event, but I don't think you're going to have too many issues with this. I'll bump the mic, sorry. Now, in terms of the pages themselves, I've had no issues with bending of cards or anything like that, so we can get that out of the way up front. Like, the only real thing that's probably an issue that you need to be aware of is the pockets themselves seem to stretch and scratch relatively easy, which is quite frustrating. Like, that's the only real issue with this. Like I said, the binder itself has held up pretty good. The pages, like, you can see there's some bend here. You can see it's raised, but when the binder is closed, there's no bend in the pages whatsoever. I've put like a little microscope in there to try and see when the zip is closed to see how it goes, and it's pretty good. Obviously, when it's open, you'll get some bend, but when you get to the middle page, which is, I think, over here, both sides lay pretty flat, and then, like I said, when it's zipped up closed on a shelf, it's perfect. Now, at the start, I mentioned if you're using it for TCG stuff, like, maybe I can't give you the insights, and I mentioned I can. The reason why I can is because I've rearranged this binder probably like 50 times, right? And like in between restructuring how I wanted my cards to be displayed, because these are displayed in order of release. Same with the other binder that I have for the other Dragon Ball Z cards. But then also there was a couple times where I was missing cards and then I misnumbered them. And so I had to like shift everything back one. So like, it's so stressful the amount of times I've had to basically rearrange this. And what that has meant is, let's see if I can get this to show up. Or which one can it be? Yeah, this one. It might be a bit hard. Let me just lower the... No, I won't lower the camera because that's going to be a pain in the butt. So you're not going to see my face for a second, but you can sort of see... It's a bit hard to see, actually. In this pocket here that's empty, it's really scratched. And what I've noticed, even though the cards are sleeved when I'm putting them in here, right, the inside of the pocket does get scratched. And in person, you can very clearly see it. And especially like on this card here, you can't see it because of the glare. Like, I think... You can see there, right? That looks like glare. That's not glare. That's a scratch on the page, on the pocket itself, which is really annoying. And I don't understand why, because even though they're sleeved, it's still scratching. And if you're using this for, like, you want to look at your cards, right? Seeing scratches all over them is really frustrating. And some cards, it stands out significantly more than others. And some you don't notice at all, but I think it's just something to be aware of, right? Like, I would still suggest buying it, even though that issue is there, especially if it's for collectible card games, and once you put your cards in there, you're set. But if you're going to rearrange them, just be very careful and don't be shocked when you do see scratches, right? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think that's common, I guess, with some or most pages, and I think it's because these are so tight. But like at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure. Now, the other thing to point out is I've found over time these pockets, because I've taken cards in and out so much, even thinner cardstock cards, these pockets have got quite loose. So much so to the point that one or two cards have like slipped out partially, not completely, but partially. And I think that's again something you need to be aware of if you're planning to get heavy use out of these. And you can see here I've got a lot of empty pages or pockets because these cards are probably some of the rarest Dragon Ball Z cards that exist, right? I've done a video on those. So expensive individually, the base cards, super rare. But that's sort of what I was getting to. Like, ended up being a bit quicker than I thought. Like overall, yeah, I think still it's a good buy. I just wanted to give an update on those two key things, right? Because whilst the binder holds up pretty well, and I've got heavy use out of it, the heavy use that I have got out of it is probably what you'd expect to get out of a product like this, right? So the fact that there's individual pockets that are a little bit loose, and then scratches on them, like just from sliding the cards in and out, even when they're sleeved, is a little bit disappointing. But I would still recommend you buy this just because I like the feel. It feels very premium. I think the issues with the pages themselves are probably consistent across the rest of Ultra Pro's range and consistent across other binders, right? Because they all follow the same approach. It's just a little bit disappointing. I would try and get these less than retail if you can. But at the end of the day, I would still recommend you go out and buy them because I like it. I'm going to buy more for the rest of my collection. I like how it feels. I like interacting with them. I like being able to see that many cards at once. The pages themselves hold up really well, which is key because whilst the individual pockets are a bit frustrating because they got scratches and stretch, the fact that the pages have held up pretty good and have not bent any cards is a big thing, right? Because that's where people go wrong with binders. They choose the wrong binder, it bends their cards, and then your card is basically worthless. So I'll just pause the video quickly for 1 second. I need to check one thing and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just had to quickly check something. So that's sort of it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you've experienced the same sort of issues with these binders, like overall, I still think it's pretty good. Like I said, it's still a must buy in my opinion. I'm probably going to buy more, or I will buy more once I get a bit more cards. I'm almost at my limit with these in terms of being able to fill them up. In summary, like it's really cool how you can see so many cards at once, especially for collectible card games. I would get it just for that purpose. Like Pokemon cards in here would look sick. Or even Dragon Ball Z stuff. As you can see, it looks awesome. Bikini Bomber, how good. Yeah, so just in general, like try and get it. Be careful with the stretching of the pockets themselves, the scratches. If you're going to be happy with those, I think this is a must-have for you. And like I said, let me know if you've experienced the same issues. Please check out my other videos if you're keen. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.